Hello, this is the iconic podcast that everyone's been talking about with your host, Sanzio, Sandy, whatever you want to call me, don't care. Currently, it's like 11:30. I plan to stop recording at midnight because I thought it'd be funny to record in the middle of the night. And it's also funny to mention that I usually get a bunch of munchies during the night. Like, if I'm awake by night and if I'm not tired, I just get a bunch of munchies, which really isn't too bad, but you know, it's late night snacking. It's probably just not healthy to stay up and, snack all day, all night long, but I do it. Why? Because, sleep schedule's kind of ruined. Uh, got better things to be doing than sleeping. Well, I could be sleeping and fixing my sleep schedule, but not really. I'd rather be eating or doing something else, which I find entertaining. This is gonna be the late night munchies conversation thing. And I don't know how long I'm gonna keep going until I run out of steam. This might be a shorter episode. This might be longer than anticipated, but yeah, today I'm gonna be talking about food. Well, not today, tonight I'm gonna be talking about food. Just food, I guess. Hyper specifics of food, stories, food related, you know. Because I used to want to. Well, I'm speaking like a lobotomized person. I used to have the burning passion to become a culinary apprentice or a person who basically wants to cook. I could probably be like a chef or something along those lines. But uh, I don't think I wanted to be a chef. Well, now because I picked up better hobbies, and being a chef nowadays isn't really a strong option. You know how the economy is all going to shit and whatever. But let's not talk about the economy because the economy is ruined. Uh, yes, I wanted to be a chef. I was always had a fascination with food, whether it was consuming it, making it, admiring it in several ways. Food is food. A lot of medias which seem to include strong and good depictions of food are stupidly my favorites. But I'll get to that later. Food is very cool. You know, I as a Hispanic who was raised in southern Mexico for a bit of my so and so childhood, I consumed a lot of like Hispanic styled snacks, a lot of like Mexican food, and even then I also consumed, things that people call struggle foods, but in reality it was just me living in poverty. Well, not true poverty, but poverty and enough poverty to have the most outlandish thing be even considered a struggle food. Uh, One of those things would be salt tortillas, no, salt tacos. And, it already sounds rather disgusting. Salt tacos? What the? Well, what are you talking about? Like, it's a corn, it's majorly corn because, in a lot of places in Mexico, corn tortillas reign dominant. It was a corn tortilla sprinkled with a bit of salt, rolled up very tightly or loosely, depending on how you felt, and then just like that, salt taco. Sometimes you'd sprinkle a lemon in there if you had one. But yeah, that was a struggle food. It wasn't the best. There's definitely a lot more struggle foods out there. One of the more cheap, sort of the ones that used to be cheap, or some kind of struggle food, has gotta do just anything with eggs. Considering that egg prices are rising, it's not really considered a struggle food because $5 for a carton of that dozen eggs, because fucking stupid economy. Yeah, eggs are definitely a food. I've eaten them quite a lot because my mom and now even my dad would buy extremely large amounts of eggs and just have them in there. We bought like a package of a dozen and six more eggs, so 12, 12, 24, like 36 eggs we bought today, and individually, but whatever. Uh, just anything mixed with eggs, sausage and eggs. It's mostly like scrambled eggs with sausage, uh, food called mijas, which is basically either it's just toasted tortillas chopped up into pieces and thrown into eggs. Probably like not toasted, but like just tortillas in general, like probably raw tortillas thrown in there in a bunch of oil. Let them toast for a bit. Then mix up your eggs, throw in a bit of salt to taste. You know, it's a bit. It's just yeah. Eggs are definitely the struggle food, but tortillas. Back to tortillas. Those are the pinnacle of struggle foods. They can be basically placed into a lot of foods and they work because, well, it's kind of flavorless. And it also offers a bit of texture for those who want a texture other than the texture of the food they're already eating. They're already eating. Um, Pardon if I do sound a bit tired. It's late at night. I don't know if I said that already, but I don't care. Tortillas can be used very rather in different kinds of varieties. Uh, I don't have any favorites. I'm not a fan of tortillas. Like, I'm not an enthusiast of tortillas. Sure, I'd eat them if they were offered to me. I probably wouldn't turn them down either, but not something I'll go for. Depends, really. Uh, because, well, tortillas would be the equivalent of bread, kinda. Not exactly, but in terms of like from America, how people cook in America, like, oh well, a taco would be the equivalent of a sandwich, like a ham cheese sandwich. A regular like meat taco would be the equivalent of that. It doesn't really matter. I don't care. Yeah, they're kind of very versatile. You can make them into a lot of things, and sandwiches are also very versatile. They've got a lot of categories in which they can fall into, and the debate of whether a hot dog and a hamburger will be considered sandwiches, because yes, I do believe that hot dogs are sandwiches. Fucking get over it. Uh, there's a lot of versatility in the craft of the sandwich. Well, there's no the sandwich, it's just a sandwich, but there is a strong craft to a sandwich. Uh, I don't really have a favorite kind of sandwich, but there is one that stands out to me that would theoretically be my favorite. It would theoretically be my favorite food, but it's just like my sort of favorite sandwich, I guess. Because again, I don't really eat a lot of sandwiches. Or like just like those square bread sandwiches, I don't eat those. I eat preferably I eat tortas, or like it's just bigger sandwich made of like different kinds of bread that isn't just like square fucking bread. Uh, so yeah, my preferred kind of sandwich would be you know those big long flat breads, not really like too flat, but it's big, about the size of like two of your hands. That call them teleras, bolillos. Don't know how to really translate it, and I don't want to look it up right now because can't be asked. Uh, so it's So it's just regular bread, the regular telera, some Macraft. I don't know what's it called. So it's like lemon lime mayonnaise, a bit of lime mayonnaise, a bit of milanesa. It's basically like a little beef brisket thingy. It's like thinly sliced beef, uh, covered in like a milk or a milk egg batter, and then topped off with crumbs, deep fried, sort of deep fried, I guess. Put that there. Uh, Thinly sliced lettuce, to be like tiny lettuce strips. A bit of a fresh cheese, uh, commonly known as queso fresco to a lot of people. It's like the very crumbly Mexican white cheese. Sprinkle that over. Toss in some sauce, a juice of a lime, and then some other stuff if there's any of it. Uh, and there you go. That is my preferred sandwich. I'm a really huge fan of milanesa. It's my favorite non-soup food. You know, it's one of them up there. I just like it. I like the taste of the beef. I like the taste of the crumbs with it. You know, it's just a favorite thing. It sometimes ends up being tough, but that's also a thing that I like about it. It's just very difficult to normally chew, so you have to put your entire jaw into it. Probably just me fucking it up, but I like biting a lot of stuff. I'm a biter, I guess. Uh, mm, but that's my favorite preferred sandwich. Well, what could be categorized as a sandwich? Well, my favorite food of all time, though, well, that's a pretty big discussion to describe or like talk about. Uh, it's called pozole. Really, I don't know how to say it in English because God, uh, white people don't know how to fucking make pozole. Well, from what I've seen, there was this video of a white lady making the most like dog ass pozole I've ever seen, and it was like Hispanic moms reacting to it. I'm like, no, what the fuck is she doing? It's like it's so ass. But yeah, pozole, very lengthy meal to cook. It's definitely one of those meals you make for a party. But if I could eat it every day, I'd eat it every day. Uh, Basically, how many peas, or like how many corns? I don't know what they're called. They're probably like how many peas. Like these little white things are like very big pieces of corn. Uh, mm, it's a soup that has those. It has either chicken or pork, probably beef there, but it's mostly cooked with chicken or pork. Uh, Mixed in with a beautiful and fucking delicious, like chili sauce. I don't know how to really describe it. It's like blended up, dried up, dried up pepper, dried up chilies. Like it's called like there's like it's just a bunch of different dried up peppers. Like not peppers, like yeah, it would be peppers. Just like a bunch of dried up peppers, I guess. Blended up into like a sort of reddish brownish goop, dumped into the boiling pot of how many peas and fucking meat, and what you get is this absolutely fucking delicious soup with how many peas, the preferred meat, and the absolute delicious taste of the peppers and stuff. It's very. It's hard to describe in terms of words, but if I could describe it visually, I would love to just kind of cook some for my friends and everyone. Uh, it's my favorite food. You top it off with some lettuce, some oregano. Sometimes you beat it with radishes. Oh, I haven't had a radish in so long. Red radishes specifically. They're like red radishes, lime. a bit of onion and cilantro, and you have the perfect fucking soup that I could eat every day if it wasn't literally draining my insides out. It's one of my favorite foods, but it's also a very sort of Hispanic food. It takes a long time to cook. It takes a lot of things to know. It takes just it's a good food. It's made with the soul. Not to be confused with soul food, but I put my entire soul into making those kinds of foods. Because I know that soul food is another type of food which I'm not very knowledge on. Another one of my favorite foods would be no, not favorites. Another one of the lengthy foods that one could make would be tamales. I don't know how to say them in English, but it's just like this little doughy thing. Not exactly doughy. It's like a doughy thing with meat sauces. Can be stuffed, or it can just be plain and sugary with raisins. Yeah, me and my mom used to make tamales every New Year's. It was a really big challenge because we always make so many of them, and we spend hours, like literal hours, kneading dough with our bare hands, kneading the dough until it's all emulsified. It was like a maseca, like corn flour, Mexican corn flour, lard, butter, and warm milk. Now, for the salty ones, like the savory ones, we reduce the amount of milk and add in either we'd add in chicken stock. And for the sweet ones, we double down on the amount of milk and probably reduce the lard and add more butter. And each one would get salt or sugar. And we just knead away and away and away. Eventually, for the sugar one, we drop in raisins, and then we keep on kneading. And the savory one, we just keep kneading, occasionally tasting it and letting it out. And while that's happening, we're letting some like corn leaf or soaking corn leaf in the sinks, just letting them soak in so they're not like very dry. And once everything is ready, you got your stuffing, which would be like some chicken with sauce, like with some chicken with some green. Uh, I think it's gooseberry, like green gooseberry sauce. I don't know if it was gooseberry, but in Spanish we call them tomatillos. It's like a very green thing. It has like a little like dry, uh, sort of cover around it. I think they're called gooseberries. I'm not sure though. It's just like a this really green sauce. Sometimes it's spicy. It has the green things, the onions, the cilantro mixed with chicken, and then we'd have pork. Uh, it was just like pork with some chili sauce. So not chili sauce cooked all over, for the savory ones. Um, we put them on the dry corn leaf, spread them out, spread the dough, put the meat in the thing, and then like fold it over so it doesn't spill out. And for the sweet ones, we just like grab a bit and then do the same thing, but with no meat or anything. Just make it like a little ball, like a little oval thing. Put it in the slow cooker, and then we let that cook for like hours. And once it's done, we got tamales. Never really had any good memory of them. My mom was always angry when she made them. There was always something going on. Everyone was always complaining because it's egregious. It was just until recently this year, last year, and then a few other years. We didn't really get to do those kinds of cooking and stuff, but we did get to make okay food. I'm still very pissed that I had to leave Texas in favor of New Jersey because you really can't find most of the good products there. Because I will admit I'm more used to the products that are sold in the HEB stores, which is the local store for most of the southern area of Texas or just Texas in general. than the other stores that they have here. But there's always Walmart. There's always familiar stores that I always remembered. Uh, but foods are you have to put salt into your foods, and I wish I could do that a lot more and make actual good foods. One of my favorite foods that I want to try again would be a chicken piccata. I ordered one from a restaurant way back when I was still in Texas. I think we went to this like very mysterious place. It almost felt like a dream, like I wasn't even there. I had chicken piccata. It was the absolutely the most delicious thing, and even thinking about it kind of hurts me. Uh, you know, I really wish I didn't stop my passion for cooking because cooking is way better than the fucking hobbies that I have right now. Like, what am I, an artist? Fucking draw stupid bastards on a piece of paper or my digital thing? Or what? A fucking game developer? We don't have enough games anymore anyway. Um, Fucking English book author or something. Not even people read books anymore. They've all got their little like e-libraries, their internet libraries, you know. And it sucks that I stopped pursuing my passion for cooking. Well, I mean, I could still pursue it, but it's not in my best interest. I don't think I would properly dedicate myself to a full life of cooking. I could. I probably. I would. I would. I probably couldn't though, and it sucks. Well, I mean, a lot of this talk about food is making me a bit hungry, but it's very late at night. I'm supposed to be asleep. Um, a lot of things about food is that no, you're supposed to enjoy it. You're supposed to eat it with a smile on your face, or at least tolerate it. There's a lot of foods that my mom made me eat, which I never really liked. And there's always this one food that you never ever will like. Um, One of those foods would be uh, shrimp cakes. Shrimp cakes with chili sauce dipped with Nepalese. Or like cactus. Like flathead cactus. I never really understood why my mom likes them. They're very fishy in the most unpleasant way. They're squishy and they're fucking disgusting. Thinking about them makes me want to fucking cry because whoever designed the piece of shit fucking must have taken the fucking turd out of the water of their toilet and just eat it in their mouth. It's like disgusting. Uh, uh, I'm sorry. I'm pissed. I'm pissed at the idea of crab cake, not crab cakes, of shrimp cakes existing. It's so disgusting. Another food that I really don't understand or really like are just these types of like yellow small berries that always smell putrid. I don't know why. I don't know how. It's just that one fruit thing I don't really like. Another food, well, let's switch it to fast food. That way I can get more opinions because, I don't really like to think about memory foods, food that I've eaten because they're yucky. Fast foods are more, they're still yucky, but they're more tolerable. Or just foods I've eaten that aren't cooked by me or by another family member, you know. Uh, One of those foods would be Chinese buffet, just Chinese buffets in general, specifically the buffets, because they always serve a specific kind of, they have the same selection of food. They have fried rice, they got shrimp, they got mac and cheese, they got chicken nuggets, they got French fries, they got fresh fruit. They got sometimes like horribly made sushi and spring rolls. They have those little those little rags with crab in them. They have the sweet and sour sauce, which apparently someone has gone violent over. You know, I think those foods are okay. I haven't had them in a while, but every time I eat them, I get the absolute worst stomach aches to ever exist. Probably laxatives in that food, but Chinese buffets do what Chinese buffets do. I do have this one fun story where, not a fun story, it's a short story. Where I went to a Chinese buffet. I was eating lemons and limes. I was eating lemons, uh, and I went back to for more food, and there was a cricket on the macaroni and cheese, and I was like, "What the fuck? That's just a cricket on the macaroni and cheese." And then I went back. My mom went left to get food, and I was happily eating my stupid lemons like an idiot. And then she comes back and she's like, "Yep, there's a cricket in the fucking macaroni and cheese," just nonchalantly. Uh, and it's kind of gross. It's kind of gross, like Arby's, really. I haven't had Arby's in such a long time, but the last time I had it, it was just flavorless, tasteless, disgusting, and it was the worst. There's this one meme of Mr. Krabs going, "Oh, that's a lot of Arby's, yum," and then the fucking dies of like something. That was me. I ate Arby's and probably fell ill. Well, I said probably because I can't remember well. I can't remember enough of Arby's for it to be memorable in a good way. It was memorable enough to be bad, but memorable enough to be terrible. That's the word. Um, but yeah, food is something that brings people together. Sometimes it separates them. Sometimes people throw it at each other. Uh, Sometimes it gets you sad. Uh, I am gonna get a bit sappy, so pardon me. I used to. There was this one time where I got really sad when I dropped my food plate when I was in elementary school. I dropped my food plate. Some kids laughed at me. It's like, ah, fucking dumbass, whatever, lamel. And I was like, oh. I was like, no. And then I got sad and started crying. And the cafeteria lady genuinely looked so tired of my shit, but she still gave me another plate of like pale white gravy with chicken and like rice, which was the school lunch that they were serving, and I really liked it. It genuinely looked like prison gruel, but it was so fucking delicious. Um, and it got me emotional because I was like, oh well, I gotta go through the day without food. And then the lady looked at me and she's like, well, I'm gonna give you another food. I'm not allowed to do this, but I'll do it anyway. And then I feel extremely bad because I was basically risking that cafeteria lady's job, and I was basically insulting myself of, wait, you're a fucking fat ass for still eating the fucking food. And then I continue to eat it because I can't let it go to waste. I gotta eat this food now. It's been presented to me and I have to eat it. And I cried and I slowly cried and stuffed my face with the prison gruel. But it was still the most absolutely fucking delicious prison gruel I've ever eaten in my entire life. And I would kill anyone except my cat to have a taste of that gruel again. I don't know why. It's stupid. It sucks. You know, me getting sappy over gruel because I was a little kid. I was a fat bastard too. I was like a little chubby fat guy. Um, you know, I never really have any food related I do have food related incidents. I did have another one where I was like, the teacher was having his lunch. There was a teacher having his lunch where we were outside doing like recess, and it's like, hey, how you doing? And I was like, okay, cool. What the hell is that thing in your thing? Oh, it's a bottle of hot sauce. It's a bottle of hot sauce. It has ghost peppers and it's very spicy. And me being a dumbass said, that's not true. No. And I basically asked for I asked the teacher to give me some of his sauce, and I did, and he did compliantly because, well, stupid kids learn stupid lessons. And I it was the worst 30 minutes of my life because I dipped the hot sauce, and then I started having abnormal, terrible pains in my stomach. Um, it wasn't that same elementary school too. The same elementary school where a kid one time threw up so much. It was like disgustingly clear. It was like hot dog pieces, like cut up hot dog pieces, not chewed at all over the floor. Thinking about it makes me want to gag a bit. Uh, but it was so disgusting as well. Um, it's also the first. It's also the elementary school in which I first tried Frito pie. It's chili with Fritos and cheese. If you never had Frito pie, then poor you. But it's the first place where I had Frito pie. The first place where I had chili dogs. It was a very good place as well. Besides all the memories, most of my childhood was spent in those sheltered little elementary schools. I think it was a charter school. I don't think I'm legally allowed to talk about the place because, it's a shelter. But I can talk about my experiences there because, it's my personal life. And as of my personal life, I do think that food has been part of my personal life in strange ways, in good ways, bad ways, in every kind of way. It's basically molded who I am. A fucking fat piece of garbage. And this fat piece of garbage needs to get some sleep. And I've been recording a bit over time. I've been recording for over 3 minutes. So this has been the iconic podcast that everyone's been talking about with your host, Sanzu. Tonight was the food episode, and I'll see if I can get a better episode next week. I wasn't really proud of this one, but I gotta catch up. I gotta maintain that schedule. Well, anyways, this has been the iconic podcast that everyone's been talking about, and I will catch you next week. Sayonara.